Alright, we're recording. What's up, guys? It's me, the What If Idiot. I changed my name from IzamiX to What If Idiot because in the end I am an idiot. Uh, but yeah, that's just gonna be my new name. The content really isn't gonna be changing, though. I'm probably gonna be making a bunch of my what ifs because I don't really like them. I find them a little cheesy and corny because they're my past work. So I think I'll be remaking a lot of them. There are some of them that I've stopped doing. Like my first series that I've ever done, those are discontinued permanently. I'm not doing them anymore. Anyways, I'm sorry for not posting in 3 months. I've just been tired and taking a break. It's been a long break. Don't get me wrong. It's been a long break, but you know. I guess we'll get into it. So we start our story off after the pain arc, when Naruto has just started to get accepted in the village, but at this point he does have a lot of jutsu and a lot of things at his disposal. Okay? So, I'm gonna say that after the pain arc, he's walking home from Ichiraku after getting dinner, when suddenly a portal opens up under him, and he gets sucked in, and he's suddenly in a circle with three other people sitting there with different weapons, and mages and a priest-looking guy standing right in front of them. This is obviously the priest, and mages are just cannon fodder. The priest will come in later. So the priest says, "Welcome, Cardinal Heroes. We are so happy that you are here. We are in dire need of your assistance. Let me take you to our king so he could fill you in on this stuff." Naruto feels something a little heavier on his arm. He looks down and he sees a shield on his arm. The shield's relatively heavy, but it's nothing that he can't handle because he is very strong. Now, I'm gonna say that what's it called? That when he gets there, when Naruto gets to the castle, the king's like, "Welcome, Cardinal Heroes. We are so happy that you are here to help us with saving our kingdom." Okay? So, I'm gonna say that, what's it called? That, the king, he says, "Introduce yourselves." He says, "Spear Hero, introduce yourself." And the Spear Hero says that his name is Moriyasu. And then he says, "Sword Hero, introduce yourself." And the Sword Hero introduces himself, and he says that his name is Ren. And he says, "Bow Hero, introduce yourself." And the Bow Hero introduces himself as Itsuki. And then he says, "Welcome. We are so happy that you could come and help us, fight off the waves of catastrophe." When Naruto says, "Hey, what about me?" in his voice, and the king's like, "Oh. And Shield Hero, what's your name?" And Naruto yells, "My name is Naruto Uzumaki," because he is a loudmouth. But that's just the charm of our favorite blonde. Anyways, so after Ren points out that this is kind of like a video game, and he points out that we have stats, Naruto looks at his stats, and his stats are great. I'm gonna say that in every stat he has at least 3,000, because he's a ninja. He has to be in peak condition. And when he looks at his magic, it doesn't say magic, it says chakra, which means that he can do all the jutsu that he was able to do back in the Naruto universe. But something's weird to him. He feels like he's able to do more things with his chakra, because instead of just being a wind user, he is able to use fire, lightning, water, wind, and earth, all 5 chakra natures. Which means that he's able to do a lot of magic. Well, jutsus. Naruto says, "Do you think I could still do the shadow clones?" in his head, and he does his signature T formation with his fingers, and he says, "Shadow clone jutsu," and a shadow clone pops up right next to him, and he's like, "Nice, we're able to. I'm still able to do the shadow clones." Oh, sorry. I don't know if that was loud, but I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. Anyways, um, so the king's freaking out because he's like, there are two shield heroes now, and Naruto's like, no, 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 this is just a clone of me. I'm able to create a bunch of clones of myself. And the clone just dispels, and he says, see? And he's like, oh, okay. And he says, and the king says, alright, you guys need to go get rest. You guys have a big start tomorrow. So they go into a room, and they're basically talking, and they find out that they are from different worlds, different versions of Japan. And Ren says that this is like a VR MMO game, RPG, and like the other two, I think that it was just like a computer game. And Naruto says, "Oh, I'm from this world where there are a bunch of ninjas, and we have to fight in wars and stuff like that, and we do jutsu." And they're all like, "You actually came from there? That sounds so unrealistic." And to be honest, it is, but it's true. Naruto did come from that world. So, yeah. I'm gonna try to cut down on saying "so yeah" a lot. It's a habit because I try to fill in the gaps that my brain is like. My brain tries to fill in gaps in my speech when I don't know what to say, so it just says "so yeah." Somebody in the comment section on one of my videos pointed that out, and he's like, Deku's favorite phrase to say is "so yeah." It was funny. So they sleep, and they go in with some slight armor, and basically the king gives them some money to, which I'm gonna say it was like 800 gold or something, 800 silver. And he says that your party members will be choosing you guys now, and basically nobody goes to Naruto's party, which is okay, I guess, because he doesn't need anybody. And when the princess, I think her name was like Mine or something like that, when she says, "Oh, I'll be in your party," Naruto's like, "No, I have trust issues because of Sakura." Sakura, the useless little she is, he has trust issues. I'm gonna say that in this one, in this version, he finally realized how Sakura was. She would like ask him to do stuff, and then when he failed, because she was so useless that she couldn't help, she would just blame it all on him. So Naruto realized how Sakura was. So he basically just has trust issues with like girls like that. So he says, "No, I'm good. I have trust issues. Keep away from me." And yeah, they go out, and Naruto asks around to see if there is a like armor shop or something like that around. And he asks around, and he finds this place with Ironheart. I think that's his name. With a shopkeeper named Ironheart. He goes in and he asks if he has any armor that he can use. Armor, some like cheap but durable armor, and see his swords. He would like to see his swords. Naruto picks up a sword, and suddenly it shocks him and blows out of his hand, and he gets a warning in his vision saying, "You cannot use any other weapon besides your assigned weapon, which is a shield." And Naruto says, interesting. And then he just goes over to look at the shields, and he picks up a shield, and it doesn't shock him immediately. And then his shield copies the shield that he has. And he's like, whoa. And then he goes over to the shopkeeper and says, "Which one is your best shield?" And the shopkeeper tells him, and he asks, how much is it? And he says, that's 200 silver. And Naruto says, okay, and he copies it, and he gets a good shield. So he has a good shield at the beginning, and he also has some armor. And he goes out and he starts to grind. He starts popping balloons, like balloons with balloon monsters, and he pops them with ease because of his strength. And he basically charges up a Rasengan and slams Rasengans into them, and he gets some good XP from it. And for some reason, he's leveling up faster than Naofumi would have leveled up. Now, as this is happening, Ren and Itsuki are watching Naruto. They're watching Naruto just absolutely destroy with his taijutsu prowess, his shadow clones, and his Rasengan. Naruto's basically just sitting under a tree while his clones are doing all the work for him. And once they dispel, he gets all the experience and all the materials. So it's really easy for Naruto to level up, which means that he levels up really fast. I'm going to say by the day ends, he's already at level 20. And Ren and Itsuki walk up to him and they say, You're really good at this. How did you become so good? And Naruto says, by living in such a hostile world, you get really good at fighting and getting stronger. So I level up easily, and plus my shadow clones and I share XP, so I'm able to level up really quickly. And Ren and Itsuki say, it's getting dark, we really should get going. And Naruto says, nah, I'm gonna stay out and I'm gonna train some more. So he goes out into the forest and he trains some more, he gets more XP, and I'm gonna say by the time that ends, he's at level 30. He's closer to his level cap. And he stays the night out there in a tree so he doesn't get attacked. He stays the night out there, and basically, when he walks back into the town, he gets arrested. Okay, so he gets arrested, and he goes into the king, and basically he's accused of forcing himself on the king's daughter, the princess Mine, the redhead that's in Moriyasu's party. And the spirit hero is like, how could you? How could you touch somebody like that? How could you be so despicable? And basically, Naruto's like, what? What do you mean? I wasn't even in town. How would I even touch her? And she's like, don't lie. Tell them the truth. You forced yourself onto me. And Naruto's like, no, I spent all night out in the forest leveling up and basically just getting strong. I'm at level 35. How would I get to level 35 if I was in here sleeping or doing whatever you accuse me of doing? And Ren and Itsuki say, yeah, we saw him go into the forest, and we didn't see him come back in town, and we can confirm that his level is 35. So they're like, yeah, chances are he didn't do what he did. And then Naruto says, if you guys are accusing me of this, where's your guys' proof? And basically, the princess is like, we don't need proof. I'm the princess. My word goes. So Naruto says, oh, so you're going to accuse me with no proof. Proof against you saying that I didn't even do anything. And you're just going to accuse me of this? And Ren and Itsuki agree with Naruto because he wasn't in town and he is at level 35. So, yeah, the king says, you're despicable. How could you just lie like that? And Naruto's like, I'm not lying. If you really wanted to know, you would just, put, a truth-saying spell on us, and we would tell you the truth. He doesn't really know about slave crusts, which do make you tell the truth, but he just figures that there's some way to make people tell the truth, kind of like how there's sealing jutsu in Naruto's world. And he says, whatever, I don't need to be here. I'll be going out and getting stronger, and when I save this kingdom, I expect an apology. And after this, Naruto has lost complete trust in anybody besides the Ironheart, which he still has trouble trusting because he just met him and he doesn't know if he's against him or anything like that. So I'm gonna say Naruto gets to level 40 by the time he is in a. He's level 40, which is his level cap, which means he can't level up until he gets a class upgrade, which means that his next level cap would be 80, I believe. So Naruto's hanging out in a bar, and he's just like eating dinner, when 3 guys walk up to him and he say, "Look, it's a shield hero. You look like you need some party members." And Naruto says, "Sure, let's go talk somewhere else." So Naruto goes outside, and he says, "Alright, let's cut to the chase. I don't trust you. You're not being in my party." And they're like, "Fine, we'll cut to the chase. Give us all your equipment and all your stuff and all your money. You're being robbed, or else you can just die." And they start coming after him, and Naruto, being Naruto, just literally beats them up with his Rasengans and his shadow clones. To be honest, he just needs his shadow clones and he could beat them up. And after that, they go running, and they're like, the shield hero, the shield hero beat us up." So, yeah. And then the slave guy, the slave trader? Yeah, the slave trader. He walks up to Naruto and he's like, "I hear you need some manpower," or something like that. And he says, "I have what you need." And basically they go into the circus tent looking place, and he basically sees these caged up people with like with animal ears and tails, and then he also sees like beasts, and the slave trader brings him to his strongest slave, and he says, "This is my strongest slave. It's level 76, and at a fair price too." And Naruto says, "I don't have enough money for this. You're probably just you probably showed me your strongest thing so that I could be a more frequent patron, a more frequent patron." And he hears coughing in the background, and he goes over to where he hears the coughing, and he sees a little raccoon girl, and he asks the slave trader how much for her, and the slave trader says, "You don't want her, she's as sick as a dog." And Naruto says, "How much for her?" And the slave trader says 16 silver. And Naruto asks the slave girl what's her name, or lift her head, and Naruto sees that she needs help, and she's afraid. So Naruto says, "I'll take her," and she starts to freak out. She has PTSD of her last slave owner, which was a torturer. So basically, he buys her, and then he takes her to Ironheart, the armory shop guy, and then he asks to get her some clothes or armor. So she gets armor and a dagger knife thing. And when walking out, Naruto hears her stomach growl, and she asks if she wants to get some food, and the slave girl's name is Raphtalia, after asking her for her name, and she says, "Raphtalia, do you want any food?" And she's like, "No, I don't want food." And then Naruto hears her stomach growl again, and he's like, "Are you sure? We're gonna go get food anyways, cause I'm hungry." So they go to a local pub, and Naruto asks for their cheapest meal, and asks for a kid's meal for Raphtalia. And she says, "Why would you get a meal for me?" And Naruto says, "Cause it looks like you wanted it. I don't know." And she basically like thank you. And he says, you're welcome. So the food comes, and she's like, wow, is this all for me? And he said, yeah. So she gets fed, she eats, she's like, and she almost chokes, but she gets water from, I was about to say Naofumi, from Naruto. And, yeah, so they go out and they start training, and with Naruto Shadow Clones and Raphtalia, they level up. They level up really quickly. Of course, Naruto can't level up anymore, but his skills can still level up. So his skills get more leveled up. So his Rasengan gets stronger, and basically, he hasn't used his Sage Mode yet because he doesn't really know. So I'm gonna say that one night, while Raphtalia is sleeping, he's practicing Sage Mode. And after a few tries, he's able to get Sage Mode. And then suddenly, he breaks out of it when he hears Raphtalia coughing and coughing. And Naruto wanted to test some medicine out on her, so he basically gives her medicine that cures light colds, and she drinks it, and she says it's bitter, but she still drinks it, and she's cured. So, yeah, Naruto can still do Sage Mode. And, so his Sage Mode gets leveled up the more he uses it. And slowly but surely he's getting a lot stronger. So, after a while of training, they start to go after the enemies with blood. And when Naruto asks Raphtalia to kill an enemy with blood, she starts freaking out and says, no, it'll bleed. And since her parents were killed in the first wave and she's afraid of blood, she refuses. And Naruto says, that's an order, you have to kill it, otherwise you won't get past your fear. So after being ordered to kill it, she has to kill it, otherwise she would get hurt if she didn't kill it. So she kills it, and she slowly gets over her fear of blood. And slowly but surely, they get a closer bond. And one day, Raphtalia just has grown so much. And this is because demi-humans, which is what Raphtalia is, they, after leveling up a little bit, they instantly become adults. So they go to Ironheart's shop, and Ironheart asks when the next wave is going to be. And Naruto said, I don't know when. If only I knew. And Ironheart tells him about the Dragon Hourglass, and they go to the church that's in the town. And they go to the Dragon Hourglass. And basically, the shield shoots out a beam at the Dragon Hourglass, and a timer shows up in Naruto's vision. And it says, 20 hours till the next wave of catastrophe. And then suddenly hears, Naruto, is that you? And he turns around and he sees Moriyasu, the spear hero. And he's like, hey. And Moriyasu says, oh, you have a party member. And he asks Raphtalia, do you know what he did then? And basically, she's like, what? Yes, I know what he did. He didn't do it. He was out training. And she basically yells at Moriyasu for believing, mine. And, telling Moriyasu that she's playing you. And that if you were actually paying attention, then you would know that Naruto is innocent, but he doesn't know. He won't know. He doesn't pay attention. He's being an idiot. But, so they go out and they get better gear, and they basically prepare for the wave. 3, 2, 1. They get teleported into a forest and they see a village. And they say, and Naruto says, we have to go protect the village. And that's where I'm going to end it. I probably skipped over some smaller details, but they don't really matter. Smaller details, you know. But I'm sorry for not posting in a very long time. But I'm posting now, and I hope that you can forgive me for that. So yeah. Thanks. Bye.